Because the Bible said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
People rejoice.
But when you look at Romans 13 in its context, Romans 13 says the righteous should not fear government. The evil should. But right now, because we voted in all the rotten trees, now the righteous gotta fear government and the evil don't.
Blessings, blessings, and blessings. Welcome everybody to People Over the Party. I'm your host, Dr. David D. King, and I got a great show for you today. We're gonna start some stuff today. I think we might. I don't even know what to say about today, you guys. I just know I got somebody backstage that is on fire and ready to go, and I mean, she brought ammunition and everything, and wow, we're excited. So y'all come on in and tune in to Kingdom Over the Party show. Before I bring her on, no, let me bring her on, and then I will talk about what the things that I want to talk about with you, lovely people. So my co-host, my ride or die constitutional buddy, my if we in a fight, she will not leave me. Matter of fact, she'll call the cavalry with her children and all my children. We'll whoop anybody. So we're ready to rock and roll, standing on the all three constitutions: the Bible, the United States Constitution, the Wisconsin Constitution. We're here to help educate you and remind you that you are a free individual in the United States of America. Let me see. She's a ninja. She's a sniper. She's oh my God, what else can I say? She's one that even if a hurricane try to come against her in her constitutional right, she will rebuke the hurricane. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring her on. Co-host, constitutional queen, Sarah.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. What an intro.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I will fight a hurricane for you.
I know you would. I could be like, hold on, you hurricane, you just crossed the Constitution. You cannot.
You cannot remove my rights.
Get on from here. I have the right to have this house. Go back to the ocean.
Oh, goodness.
So how are you today?
I'm raring to go. I faced the dubious privilege of reviewing the State of the State address by our dubious governor. And I'm not sure exactly how he thinks he can get away with it. Well, except for the fact that he's a Democrat and he thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, sometimes I don't like to get my blood pressure up, so I don't address the State of the Unions, and sometimes I don't even watch it because I know it's about to tick me off, and Then you got the puppets just clapping for some of the stupidest stuff that they clap for.
And the media spinning it to make it sound like this is an amazing thing. He's redoing all of the undoing all the damage our president did because he took us out of a global collaboration, making it sound like it's this beautiful come to Jesus thing, right? Yeah, apparently okay. So this was our state superintendent, guys. He was a public educator. And apparently he has never actually read our Constitution, because in Article 1, Section 10, first paragraph, it states very clearly, and I will pull it up for you so I can make sure that I get it perfectly, quoted. It states, let me find it. I should have pulled it up earlier. Okay, here we go. Section 10, no state shall enter into any treaty, any alliance or confederation. And then it goes into a whole bunch of other things that the states need to not do, right? Grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. So that first little phrase, it's a small one. It kind of gets lost in the weeds because there's a lot of other things that no states are allowed to do. It says no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. Now, you might say, oh, but it's a global organization that it's not based on governments or anything like that. Bullshit. Sorry, pardon my French. I'm this mad about this. They're entering into a contract that actually, by its definition, by the regulations, by the contract's wording, actually superimposes itself over our own national and state constitution, and basically makes itself sovereign over our national and state constitution. Now, tell me something. If the federal government is the one that protects our borders, contracts alliances, does their treaties and everything like that, and our state steps out from under that and says, nope, we're going to contract with this global alliance, this global organization. We're going to sign a treaty with them. And we're going to work with the WHO on any what's the word I'm looking for? Any form of national health crisis, any form of, global health issues. Tell me how that is actually a good thing for the United States.
Well,
for Wisconsin, for that matter.
Well, first of all, people got to go look up the World Health Organization. And it is population control organization. Let's just call it what
who's
it is.
Funding it? Who's funding it? Right? It's not the little tiny nation in South Africa. It's major global they call themselves philanthropists, right? Philanthropists, I can't even say the word. They stage themselves as the global elite. And if you watch any of the World Economic Forum, many of these players in the World Economic Forum are actively engaged in the World Health Organization. We've got Bill Gates. We've got, I believe Elon Musk at one point was part of it. I don't know if he is anymore. We have multiple, George Soros and his organization. We have a whole bunch of these global elites who are building a global network of nations that doesn't actually benefit any of our nations. It actually hurts our nations because the only people who come out on top are the global elites. Case in point, after COVID, with all of the WHO response and everything, every nation in the world got drastically poorer except for the people at the top of the list who were engaged in funding these organizations. Now tell me, how does that help Wisconsin by any stretch of the imagination? We have a governor who's literally ignoring our federal constitution, ignoring Article 10, Section 1, that states that he is not allowed, it is not within his authority or purview to contract with any other organization or alliance outside of the United States. This is what we call foreign entangling alliances, people. And the whole point was to keep the United Nations or the United States, the United States. If we have states like California, Wisconsin, and New York who are contracting with other nations, and their laws, their organizational laws, are going to subvert our own laws, then we are actively engaging in treason against our own country.
So we have a governor who don't know the Constitution.
Oh no. I would bet a whole lot that he has never actually read it.
Who's about to commit treasoning. Then we have a candidate for governor who's a congressman who don't know the Constitution to say this is unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the only thing he can say is, I will remove us. No, this is unconstitutional. We should never get there.
Yeah, you know what he should have come out and said is, our governor is about to commit an act of treason against the United States by contracting with a foreign alliance. And guess what, guys? This is a punishable offense. They used to do hangings. They used to do, firings at dawn. We should probably consider bringing that back. And I am not calling violence against our governor. I'm just going to caveat that. I am not calling for violence. I am saying that he is committing a crime if he signs this executive order. He is literally selling Wisconsin to a global organization that does not have our best interests at heart.
And why have not one person on the right got up and did a press conference say this is unconstitutional?
Yeah, every single Republican legislator should come out and say absolutely not. This is treason. And if our governor attempts this, we will fight it with every bit of power that we have. Because here's the thing, he can sign an executive order, but the legislator has to say this goes against our Constitution. We're not going to make a law that allows for this.
Right. But, and like I say, this is the part where it really irks me, because neither side is standing up for what they claim they were swore to protect.
Yeah.
And then we have a congressman who's running to be the governor who doesn't understand the Constitution. This is scary, because how is it you are the congressman who don't know the Constitution to say, oh, you could have said, oh, I wish you would, because this is unconstitutional. And I myself will make sure you get charged with treasoning. But instead he says,
we're going to be nice about it. If you do this, I'm just going to reverse it. No, because here's the thing. The next Democrat governor, that softballing is not going to get you anywhere. The next Democrat governor who gets into office is going to just bring us right back into it. No, this is treason. It needs to be stated as such. You do not get to contract our state with foreign entangling alliances. It is right there in your Constitution, Governor Evers. You better start reading it. Because I can guarantee you there are going to be political interest groups and attorneys who are going to come after you for this. Now, I don't know how effective it's going to be, because we've almost got a majority of activist judges on our Supreme Court in Wisconsin who could just say, nope, we're going to let him do what he wants, right? But you get enough people in Wisconsin to understand that what our governor is doing is committing treason.
Yeah. And again, I look at some of the stuff that they're doing, and I'm like,
here's the thing. I don't care, because the Democrats' message is, oh, you're going to fight against a global organization that's working to help prevent pandemics and help. newsflash, you cannot prevent a pandemic by throwing money at it from our governor. I'm sorry, that's not how this works. You know what? You know what prevents pandemics? Sunshine, vitamin C, healthy eating, exercise, maybe not taking jabs that have absolutely no scientific studies behind them saying that they're safe and effective. We could start there. Lose about 20 pounds. I'm working on it. The healthier you are, the less we are susceptible to pandemics. Guess what? All of the historical pandemics in the world happened before we decided to, insert human interference into our research and science. Global pandemics happened because of people who were living in horrible conditions, who were not healthy. The people who died were the people who were their bodies were already immunocompromised. Then we get into the 21st century and suddenly, we're killing off. Oh, no, it's the old people and the immunocompromised. Same thing. Even when humans interfere in the DNA structure of viruses, it still hits the same thing. It's just seriously, read your history books, read your Constitution. This is not a new thing, guys. This is not new.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm fired up about this. It's just so ridiculous to me. They're going, you don't trust the science. No, I don't trust the global organizations that say they're the science. That is not how this works.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to know one question. Do you guys hear the passion of this woman?
Oh my goodness.
But see, and then that leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about. I mean, we can bounce back and forth with this one,
Mm-hmm.
but the Wisconsin Constitution does not give the government power over the churches.
Yes, that's very true.
And they know this, so they want the people who don't read the Constitution to make an amendment so they can control the church.
Dr. King, can I push even further? The Wisconsin and federal Constitution does not give power over the people. Their authority rests in the protection and defense of the rights of its citizens, the God-given rights of its citizens. That's what the constitutions are written for. It's not supposed to give power over the people. It is not supposed to interfere in any sort of private or even public expression that is our God-given rights. And I'm saying this specifically because there are rights that with a moral and virtuous society, we understand they come with limits and restraints and boundaries and responsibility, right? These
Right.
God-given rights of ours. And that is what the Constitution is supposed to protect. What the power of the Constitution and both the state and the federal Constitution have is to protect and defend those God-given rights and protect our sovereign borders.
So can I
That
ask
is
you-
what they have the power over. They don't have power over we the people.
I know. So can I ask a question? Because I might be confused. I might be slow. I might not be smarter than a fifth grader. But who's in control of the House in Madison?
Who's in control of the House in Madison? Well, there's probably a few different theories.
Well, I mean, does the Democrat control it right now, or do the Republican control it right now?
Again, I would say there's different theories because we can call the Republicans, but are they actually Republicans?
Exactly. That's the
So
point.
the majority of the seats in the House in Congress in Madison are after their name. That can I caveat it that way?
Yeah, they have an R, right?
Yeah.
So if they have an R, because I'm confused now.
Mm-hmm.
They have the majority.
Yes.
So if they have the majority, how did this get to the ballot?
Yeah. So they do not have a supermajority which can override vetoes for the governor, or which can override a governor's decisions, executive orders.
No,
They
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
a
no.
supermajority.
Not that part I'm talking about.
Oh, so what are you talking about? Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, to get that to the governor to sign to put it on the ballot.
For what? Which one?
The
churches one. Okay, I'm sorry. I was still back at the
okay.
the
Reel you in.
Thank you. So the church one, the one about supposedly protecting the churches, but yeah, the ballot.
Putting an amendment on the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
How did that get passed? How did that get from... How did it even have a serious conversation for that to make the ballot when they say they're the party of God? So how...
Two things.
Okay.
Complete ignorance as to what our constitutional God-protected rights are, or God-given constitutionally protected rights are. And the language was vague enough that they could stand behind it without actually compromising their position.
Oh, wait. Let me look that up, because I got it. Let me find it, because I send it to J-Rod too.
Mm-hmm.
I got the language that they were starting off with, and it specifically said worship. So my thing is, how on God's green earth, matter of fact, even before I pick it up,
yeah,
how is it that they even consider making an amendment to the Constitution when it comes to the church?
Yeah. So ignorance, it's ignorance of the Constitution. For whatever reason, we have decided, the people who are sitting in these seats have decided that, oh, the Constitution wasn't clear enough, so we need to make it clearer. The problem is that our language, our intent has changed, and so we're not going along with the original intent of the original Constitution. So they are thinking, oh, we're helping by clarifying things and making sure that people know, when all we would have to do is go back to our federal, state, and biblical Constitution and state, hey, guess what? Church, you cannot touch the body of Christ.
Right.
Government, you cannot touch the body of Christ. The body of Christ has a fundamental right given by God to worship him in spirit and in truth, in whatever manner they feel God is leading them to do so, as long as it does not violate the rights of others, like, say, a fanatic who says, I'm going to kill in the name of Christ, right? Like, as long as it does not violate the other commandments of God, then they have a right to worship in whatever way they choose, when they choose, how they choose, where they choose, no matter what's going on in the state of the nation.
So, according to this amendment, it seeks to add specific language to Article 1, Section 18 of the Wisconsin Constitution, protects worship, prohibits government order to close churches, mosques, synagogues, etc., to stop religious service during an emergency. Now, first of all, it doesn't say emergency in the Constitution.
Yep.
That you can't mess with the church only on emergency. It doesn't say that.
No, it does not. So
now it had to pass 2 consecutive times. So the first time they came for it, it was in 23.
Mm-hmm.
And now in 25. So now it's supposed to be on the ballot. Now watch this. The simple terms for those who don't read their Constitution, it is aimed to make it a permanent part of the Wisconsin Constitution that religious gathering cannot be shut down by government during emergencies. We already don't
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Article 1, Section 18. It states freedom of worship, liberty of conscience, state, religion, public funds. The right of every person to worship Almighty God according to the dictates of conscience shall never be infringed. Nor shall any person be compelled to attend, erect, or support any place of worship or to maintain any ministry without consent, nor shall any control of or interference with the rights of conscience be permitted or any preference be given by law to any religious establishments or modes of worship.
That's it. So
it already says it shall never be infringed.
So why do we need it? So why do we need the amendment? So why do we need
another amendment? All we need is to read our dang Constitution.
Oh, you finna cuss again. Come on, I got you.
I am so fired up about this, guys. I am so fired up about this. This is the mindset. So it's not specified in the Constitution, therefore we have to clarify it. No, that is not what the original founders and writers of these constitutions thought. They said, if it's not in the Constitution, you don't get to do it. If it doesn't state specifically that a governor has the right to mandate emergency shutdowns of churches, then he does not get to do it. It is not an enumerated power. An enumerated power is clearly stated. It is clearly defined. And if it is outside that bounds of clearly defined power, you don't get to do it. So we don't need an amendment for this. We just need to tell Governor Evers and his administration to stuff it the next time a pandemic comes about.
And the thing about it is, they're going after the churches, but they're not going to use churches in that amendment when it goes on the ballot. I guarantee you they're going to say public gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. We got these elected officials, again, that don't read the Constitution and doing things to amend something that if they read it, they'd be like, oh, this is a waste of time.
Well, and here's the thing. The legislators, oh my gosh, this is just the fact that our legislators who are making law, guys, they're making law based on supposedly our Constitution, and they have not even read it. They can't look at that and say, why are we bringing this bill before committee? We already have that. It says they never shall be infringed. It states this. We don't need a bill to clarify this. There is nothing in the Constitution that gives the federal or the state government any powers over the worship and gathering of the people of God. Nothing. It doesn't say in exceptions with emergencies, which could be defined as anything. It doesn't give him that power because that is not his jurisdiction. The only executive orders he can give should be fully aligned with our Constitution and his enumerated powers. If he gives an order outside of that, we have the right and we have the duty to ignore it, to state absolutely not. This church is going to keep meeting on Sunday, Saturday, Wednesday, whenever you meet. We're going to keep worshiping God, and we will take our own natural precautions if we need to. But we do not need any government coming in and telling us that we don't have the right to meet, or that we have to shut our doors because we're non-essential. That's bull. That is absolute bull. The worship of God is an essential that we have forgotten as a nation. And the fact that we let the governor tell us that he was mandating shutdowns when he doesn't have the right or the authority to make laws. It blows my mind, Dr. King, that all of the churches, most of the churches in Wisconsin shut down. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. The fact that we actually closed our doors when people needed God the most.
I know. And I'm loving this because I got you all stirred up. So I'm finna hit you with I'm finna hit you with another one.
Oh no. Bring it on, Dr. King. I might as well get all my energy out now.
Since they're talking about this, you ready for this one? Because I know you finna be a real...
Bring it.
I'm going to just sit and duck under the table or something because this is because we don't read. This is because we doesn't study. We don't know our Constitution. But and even in the first Constitution, we should never allow them to do this. All right?
Yeah.
You ready for it?
Okay.
parental rights.
If it is not within the enumerated powers written in your constitutional jurisdiction, you have no authority over it. None. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat or some sort of green alien who decided to visit Earth for some odd reason. You do not have constitutional authority over the private doings of parents in the home unless the parent is committing a crime against their children. Then I'm meaning crime as in murder, abuse, assault, whatever, the violent crimes in which they are inflicting their own power on a helpless being. The government has no right to come into our homes. They do not. It is not in their enumerated powers. There's nothing in the constitutions, any of them, that states that the government has any right over the private doings of parents and their children, over their medical decisions, over their how they educate, over where they go to worship, over whether or not the parent decides, nope, you are not going to become a boy because you are a girl made in the image of God, and that's how you're going to stay. And if you want to change that when you're 18, I can't do anything about it because I've got, my parental rights are gone. But until then, I am going to put my foot down over this because you are my child and you are God's child first. You don't belong to the state. You don't belong to the federal government. You don't belong to any other human being on earth. You belong to God. And so therefore, you don't read your Constitution. Read it. It doesn't give you the power to do that. We don't need amendments to give us that, except for the fact that there's enough stupid people in the world that maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe there are enough people in the world who are like, oh yeah, totally, the government can come in and do whatever they want to parents. I don't know what it is, but if it is not in your enumerated powers, you don't get the right. So if you want to change that, you got to change the Constitution. And I really don't think you're going to get parents backing you on this one, guys.
So
you really are getting me going today, Dr. King.
Well, see, this is the fun part for me because
I wish Amber was here. I wish she was able to be with us because this was a fun one.
But wait, but I got a little surprise for you.
Oh dear.
If he take the bait.
Is somebody else gonna come on and talk?
I'm trying to get him because I know he'll be really stirred up on this too.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing right now, but and the thing about it is, it's simple. It's not hard. It's simple. But if they can keep the information away from the people, right?
Yeah.
Then they can do some things, and they can get away with it because of how what's the word I want to use? How ignorant we are because we don't have the information.
Yep.
You can have a doctor. You can have a doctor degree and be ignorant because you don't got the information.
Well, because we've been told for almost 100 years that we just need to let government handle it, guys. We just need to make sure government is able to handle it because we just can't. We're just people, and there's only so much that we can do, and so therefore we need to let government handle it. So
and
sit down and just don't speak up at school board meetings. We've got this, guys. We've got this.
But wait a minute, because see, I'm finna really just mess you up, but
oh, I'm already messed up, Dr. King. I wouldn't be on here if I weren't.
It's just amazing to me because the fact that you have the right, you have the Republicans. They say they pro-life, but they fund abortion. Yeah. Then you say,
there's another one. Did we talk about this last week about how the federal government has now refunded Planned Parenthood?
Right.
After how many years of saying, oh no, we're going to defund Planned Parenthood, they just quietly slipped it into the bill. We're just
Right.
going to refund you all of the money that we took away from you for the last few years. Oh, but it doesn't go to abortions, guys. Really? Really? So what they do is they take the government money and they go, okay, well, we've got government money and then we've got money from donors. So we'll use the donor money for abortions, which frees up the government money to be used on healthcare, right? On whatever else they do, which, what is it, like 70-80% of Planned Parenthood's revenue comes through abortions? Like, it's a huge number, guys. It's a huge number. The majority of their revenue comes through abortion. So you're going to tell me that we're keeping track of every dollar bill that the government sends us. We're tracking those numbers and saying, oh, see, we didn't use that bill, that tracked bill. We didn't use that because it was from the government. We didn't use it for abortions. Give me a break.
Okay, I got something for you, because let's talk about the founder of Planned Parenthood for a minute.
Margaret Sanger.
Uh,
Just a beautiful soul.
Quote number one from Margaret Sanger. I got 3 of her quotes, but number one is scary. She says, we should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service background and with engaging personalities. The most successful educated approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the ministers is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occur to any of their more rebellious members. So let me tell you what
were to occur. Now, here's the question I have for you, Dr. King. Why would that thought even occur to people in the first place? Why did they have to set up barriers against that thought occurring, if not for the fact that thought is more accurate than they would like to let on?
Exactly.
Right?
So what
Margaret Sanger and she had deep ties, deep connections with people around the world who were big in eugenics. Eugenics is basically the how do I put it? The careful planning of population control. I'll say it that way. In biblical terms, it's murder. Like that's all it is. And so she had big ties in this. Guess what? Hitler and his Goonies were so impressed by her population control methods that they utilized it in Nazi Germany. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're bringing up Hitler again. Yeah, because he was so interwoven with our own. America was the one who inspired Hitler to the Holocaust.
Right. So
not Americans as a whole, but the people in America who were for the eugenics of the undesirables in society. They were the ones who inspired Hitler. Now, where did we get our ideas from? We got our ideas from the Marxist Cultural Revolution, the socialist, Marxist, communist cultural revolution that was taking place. We got it from Charles Darwin and his Origin of Species. Do you know it's you'll like this, Dr. King. Do you know what the full title of the Origin of Species is?
What?
Oh, it's so great. On the origin of species by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life.
Oh, wow.
Now tell me how many high school students actually know that, but that's the curriculum that they are getting inspired by.
And that's why number 2 of her quotes says, eugenics and sterilization is an urgent need. We must prevent multiplication of this bad stock. So colored folks is bad stock.
Mm-hmm.
When I started, that's why I got to stay away from you, because I started reading stuff, I started looking up stuff, and I be seeing stuff, and
you can't unsee it once you've seen it, right?
exactly. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, maybe everybody is not hungry for knowledge as me. Maybe everybody is not concerned about the human race like me. Maybe everybody is not want to be like Christ and be controversial like me, because I see things and I be sitting there like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What in the world is going on? So now we got elected officials on the right that says, oh, we don't believe in abortion, but we're going to fund it. We don't believe in it, but we're going to fund it. We got organizations. Ooh, I'm going to put that up there too. We got organizations that says, Margaret Sanger had was called the Negro Project 1939.
Yeah. It started in 1916. Actually, it started before that, but 1916 was like the big turning point, which is what inspired Margaret Sanger's journey and in turn inspired the Nazis.
And then she wanted me to have a permit to have a child. So that means I wouldn't have as many kids as I had if I let her.
Dr. King, they were already starting that before Margaret Sanger even came on with the permitting Black people to get married. I mean, right? The government came in and was like, oh, well, it's illegal for Black people to get married. So we're going to give you a license that you have to pay for in order to have permission to marry.
I'm like, duh.
And again, we had an ignorant Congress who sat back and said, yeah, this is a good idea. This is a great idea. We should do that. No, what they should have said is, we have no authority and jurisdiction over marriage. We don't get to define marriage. But we do not get to tell human beings who they get to bind their lives to.
But
that's God's job. He defined marriage between a man and a woman before God.
But if we don't read and just get elected and we don't have to read, then we operating by our feelings and not by logic. And so the left side says, not if women health and women rights, but before the election, wasn't it hard for the left to identify what a woman was?
Yeah, that is something that just absolutely blows my mind. They're like, we need a woman president. Okay, what is a woman? Let's start there, right? What is a woman? Define a woman for me, and I will tell you, yeah, we probably could use a woman president. But you don't even know what a woman is. I am not going to take advice on how to raise my children, on how to work and live in my community from people who have not even read the founding documents and the origin story of America. I'm not going to do it. It's just absolutely not. Absolutely not. When my role in a government position supersedes the role of God as head of any human government, as authority over any human government on earth, then I have severely crossed the bounds, and I better be seriously concerned for my soul.
I like that 3 seriously.
I mean, it is so dangerous, Dr. King, how deeply entrenched this idea is that human government somehow has authority over so many aspects of our life. I sit in committees where I'm going, okay, so I have to work within this system, but this system is fundamentally opposed to freedom and liberty. How do I fight this? How do I fight this system? How do I do this? And the more I'm sitting in these committees and on these boards, Dr. King, the more I'm realizing it's never going to happen on that level until we get people who are educated in all 3 of our constitutions, who understand that a moral and virtuous people are the only people efficient to be governed under our constitutions, and that as a Christ follower, my job in every area of life is to disciple the nations and teach them everything that God has commanded. And I cannot do that effectively in a government position that has already so overstepped their bounds of authority that the only thing I'm trying to do is stem the tide of damage that it's doing. It's such a dangerous place that we are at right now. And I want to see that change. We're not going to get it until we get a moral and virtuous society in our families, in our homes, in our churches.
Exactly. And you know what else I cannot stand? And both sides is using it, and I don't even know why. I understand why the left is using it. I don't understand why the right is using it.
Mm-hmm.
The word democracy.
Oh, don't even get me. You're getting me started again, Dr. King. Democracy dies, okay? Democracy kills nations. It destroys them. It is mob rule. It is two wolves and a lamb fighting over what's for dinner. And guess who loses? The lamb, okay, guys? A constitutional representative republic is two wolves and a fully armed lamb coming to the dinner table and going, "You just try me."
Yes.
Right?
Wait, say that again. Don't you mean democracy, not the Constitution?
No, absolutely not. The founders hated democracy. They abhorred it because they saw that it did not work. It's like nowadays we have the socialists, right? The socialist communists are like, "Oh, this is such a great, it's a moral system. It's more moral than capitalism." It has never worked. It has been tried millions of times. The Pilgrims tried socialism, guys. They tried socialism in America before it was America. And guess what? The Pilgrims were like, "Yeah, this isn't going to work." This is not going to work.
and you know, it's funny because we listen to it and they make it sound good.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it sounds good to you, but you really don't know. Like right now,
the Pilgrims were Christians. They were followers of God, and they tried socialism, and they're like, "This is an immoral system. It means that the people who don't want to work still get to eat, and the people who work lose all of the fruits of their labor. This is not how it works." So guess what? They established a representative form of government, and not a democracy.
Yeah, because even the Bible says if a man don't work, he don't eat. And you know, when we look at that, right? And they said, "Oh, we're a democracy." I'm like, "No, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Please get that word out of your mouth."
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Democrats who vote Democrat because the person got a D on their name, but they don't know they voting for a DSA,
mm-hmm.
Democrat Socialists of America.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize that. I ain't voting for no socialist. He's telling you I'm a DSA.
Yeah. And okay, so yeah, just so everybody knows, because a lot of people say, "No, it's not in the Bible." 2 Thessalonians 3:10, "For even when we were with you, we gave you this command: if anyone is unwilling to work, he shall not eat." So it was from Paul, and Paul was seeing the church was kind of like there was a select few people in the church who were basically running the whole thing in the body, and everybody else was just kind of like siphoning off that. So, government socialists at work, right? And Paul was like, "No, not going to happen. That's not how this works," right? You all are going to pitch in because you are all the hands and feet of Jesus.
Right. And so, and I don't know. I think that what we need to do is, and we should have did it for Christmas. We should have gave every one of our elected officials a pocket constitution, so they could read and realize, "Oh, wait a minute, I just made a law against the contract. I can't make a law against the contract."
We could get the pocket constitution declarations and highlight the specific parts that they're violating, and then send them to it for our 250th anniversary. How's that?
Right. And then what we do is we wrap it on there and says, "Please read all the highlighted."
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to, because they don't know. I would never take a person, or I would never want a person who never been a CEO to be the head of a state, to be the head of a city, to be a head of a county. And we see that they never had any kind of business mindset or anything. by their leadership and how terrible it is, right?
I mean, the first presidents were all estate owners or business owners or lawyers. They had stake in the game, right? They had an investment in their country and they wanted to see it prosper. And so, yeah, if you don't have an investment, if you don't have a stake, like, I mean, think about like AOC. She came out, she was a bartender and she got a random degree in economics that obviously didn't help her because she can't math to save her life. And then she's like, oh, I know, I'm going to go run for office and I'm going to be, it blows my mind. It's like, you should at least be able to pass the civics test in order to stand in those office, right? Like in that office and represent our people.
You know, one of the Democrat candidates says, when I was growing up, I had to deal with evictions after evictions, and I'm the only one that have put people in homes, and I have receipts for that. And I made a comment. I said, yes, you might have put them in homes, and then you raised the taxes.
Yeah.
So what
you know,
they're going
I'm going to ask you something though, Dr. King. Can a person run for office who's like been a stay-at-home mom raising the next generation and training them? I mean, technically I'm a CEO, even if I don't actually own a business.
that's running a nation all by itself. So.
Exactly.
So
I think the biggest thing is they have to have a working knowledge of our constitutions, and I mean all three of them. Like, honestly, they do have to. Because here's the thing. How can you fight against Sharia law if you don't understand the scriptures? If you don't understand that our nation was built on those very scriptures, how can you fight against Sharia law? Because, you know, we were talking about this in a book club of mine earlier. There's like this Nuremberg Code dilemma, right? The Nuremberg trial dilemma, that they were trying these war criminals on a global stage, and not every nation believed in the God of the universe. And so they're like, well, we can't try them under biblical law. We can't try them under constitutional law, which is based on biblical law. So how do we try them? And the Nazis were trying so hard to press was, we were following our laws. We were doing exactly what we were supposed to do. So how can you try us as criminals? Just because we lost the war doesn't mean we were doing anything wrong, right? Like, that was their argument. And so the dilemma is, if you don't have a higher moral standard that every nation or every individual follows in a criminal trial, how can you justify trying somebody for crimes if they don't even see them as crimes? Right? Like, you have to have a shared moral value. So how can we as a nation understand the depths of damage that Sharia law can do to our nation if we allow it in, if we don't have a working knowledge of the law that combats Sharia law and every other godless, other religious law, right? We can't do that. And so we really actually do have to start in like baby steps, going back through the history of this world, this nation, the history of the world, and seeing the progression of, this is God's universe, and so therefore we have to live by God's laws, right? Right.
And you know, that's like when Paul said, when they got ready to whip him, and right before the man can raise his hand, he said, "Let me ask you a question. Is it lawful to whoop a Roman without a trial?" And the guy was like, "Whoa, wait, you're a Roman?"
Like, I need to pay for my Roman citizenship, and you're just a natural born? That sucks.
Yeah. And then he realized, he was like, wait a minute, we just messed up. We just violated law.
Yeah.
And Paul knew it. He was like, I'm just going to use the law when I really need to use it. Oh, now you're going to whoop me because I'm a Roman citizen? And he was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we messed up.
But he knew his rights as a Roman citizen, and that did not contradict his rights as a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Right. It actually enhanced it, because he was able to use that citizenship to get around the whole Roman Empire and spread the gospel. If he had not had that, he would not be the minister to the Gentiles, right? Like, there was a reason why God chose him. And part of that was because of his Roman citizenship. So we cannot separate the sacred from the secular, guys. We cannot do it. It does not work. It has not worked throughout all of history. It will not work, and it will continue to not work as long as we keep pushing this. And we're going to logically see the outworking of these secularized, humanistic mindsets, these ideologies that are destroying families. They are destroying governments. They are destroying nations. And we have to stop the train because it is literally going off the cliff, guys. We are taking this train all the way off the cliff. And that's what happens when nations die. We saw it with every other nation that rejected God.
Yes.
They die.
That's true. And so this is why you guys, we got to vote David King and Sarah Palin. But but we have to have godly leadership, or
Yes.
we in trouble.
Yes.
I don't care how you look at it. I don't care. You, as the young folks say, you already got receipts. What happened to cities and towns that leadership does not acknowledge God or govern themselves by the principles and statutes of God. It's not that they're going around trying to convert everybody, but that they themselves are lining up with the standards and the righteousness of God.
Yeah.
That's why the Bible says in Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous, the uncompromised, are in authority, the people rejoice. Why?
Yes.
Because when the unrighteous is in authority, what end up happening is everybody, whether you're a believer or not, is blessed because that's where God is going to reign. And if you're in that land, you're going to reign.
Yes. I mean, in captivity, the Israelites were in captivity in pagan nations. They did not have their synagogue. They did not have their temple. They did not have any of their structures of worship. And yet God told them to still pray for the prosperity of the nation in which they were held captive, to work towards that prosperity, because through them, the nations would be blessed.
Yes.
Guess what, guys? In the Abrahamic covenant, it states that anyone who blesses the nation of God is blessed, right?
Right?
Anybody who curses the nation of God is cursed. So here we have, and then it continues. That's the old covenant, but we have the new covenant with the body of Christ. That covenant promise was not to Abraham, not just to the Jews. It was to all of the people who were grafted into his nation. The people of God were the people who chose to follow Christ ultimately. So guess what? If we are blessed through this covenant, this ancient covenant, because we choose to worship and serve God, then everyone around us, whether they choose to worship and serve God or not, will be blessed as well. That's how, because life works better when we are following God.
And then that's that because everything trickles down. So if the presence, the anointing of God is at the top, it's coming down. Whether you believe in Him or not, you still going to benefit. Like Daniel, everybody under Daniel benefit. Joseph, everybody under Joseph benefit. And Pharaoh understood. Wait a minute, something about Joseph. So let me give Joseph, here, Joseph, you second in command to me.
Yes. And then what happened to the Pharaoh who came after Joseph, who did not remember Joseph?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Right.
Right? He cursed the people of God, and look what happened. His entire nation was destroyed. He lost his firstborn, and his entire nation was completely demolished. This is the power of God over a nation. He blesses those who bless him and who bless his people, and he curses those who curse him and his people.
and that is why America became a great nation,
Yep.
even though they was imperfect, but we became a great nation because why? They stayed under God.
Yes, and it's why people like Thomas Jefferson wrote, "I tremble for my country because I know that God is just," because he was looking at the future of the country if slavery remained. He was looking into the future, and he was going, I know how this ends because I've seen it throughout history. God keeps his promises, and when a nation is opposing God and opposing his ways and his laws, I tremble because God is just, and that justice will not sleep forever. And
That's
he was
right.
completely right. We almost became not a nation because of the slavery issue.
And
And we
so,
fought a bloody war to get to put us back on the right track. And it still took years after that to put us on the right track. So here's the thing. We can become a nation that honors God. We have to choose it first in our homes and our families. We have to educate our children. We have to raise a generation that knows God and follows him, not a generation that has forgotten God and the ways of his and how his ways work better.
yes. Now, before we leave, I got to get you fired up one last time.
Okay.
And that is about how they want to put the pride flag over, I forgot which monument.
Mm,
Um, and I really believe people don't understand what flags really represent. Flag
yeah.
represent territory.
Yeah. It's a
And
claiming of territory.
so now they want to put the pride flag in DC over a monument. I forgot which one.
Mm,
Uh, and let it fly all the time.
mm. That's it. Yes, it riles me up. Yes, it angers me, but more than anything, it shatters my heart because we are owing allegiance to a very, very select few individuals who have claimed an identity that was never given to them by God. They're basing their entire identity on one tiny little aspect of their nature, and they are rejecting the image-bearing nature of God in them. And we're going to claim allegiance to that? What they don't, so when they preach this idea of you have to tolerate us, you have to accept us. Accept what? Accept that you are rejecting everything else about yourself except for this one tiny little part, and you're twisting and warping it so that it makes your head spin and go crazy. And we're supposed to accept that and condone it and praise it and celebrate it and take pride in it when you are a whole human being made in the image of the creator of the universe, and every part of you is fearfully and wonderfully made, and he doesn't make mistakes. That's what I'm supposed to be worshiping. That's the allegiance I'm supposed to be giving. You're selling yourself so short. You are selling yourself short. What a shattered, heartbreaking idea that I have to accept you because of one tiny little part of your decision making that has nothing to do with who you are in God.
Now, see, that's the Holy Ghost in you right there. Because you came with so much compassion on that when I was looking for the fire and brimstone. but not really. But you know, you're absolutely right. But again, people doesn't understand. And anytime they change a word, they change the definition. And we need to understand that, right?
Yes.
And anytime a certain one use a word, they're changing the definition. And so when 2020 was here and they was hollering Black Lives Matter, and Joe Biden says, well, if I become governor, I'm going to sign the Equality Act.
Yeah.
Now, when they use the word equality, it had nothing to do with Black lives.
Yeah.
It allowed a boy to wrestle my daughter. It allows it allows a man to go into the girl's bathroom. You know, so when we start to look at this, and when people start using DEI, I tell them all the time, you need to shut up, because number one, you have diversity every single freaking day of your life. You in diversity.
Yep.
Every single day. This is a diverse podcast.
We we talk about diverse issues and
Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
We cheapen the language when we try to define it in these terms, right? Diversity. It means that if you are not a particular skin color, then you don't get to come to the table because you have privilege, right? Equity. We have to bring you down to the level that we believe that we see fit in order to make ourselves feel good that we're giving other people the same advantages.
listen.
You know, inclusion. We have to include everybody regardless of what their belief is, whether it's a good or bad belief. We have to include it all because if we don't, then we're intolerant. Well, I'm sorry, but most truth claims are intolerant of the lies.
So here's the thing. Number one, equity. I equally attack everybody.
I equally hold everybody accountable for their own choices.
Whether you're on the right or the left, okay?
Yeah.
Inclusion. Oh my God. You don't even want me to start with that one.
I include everybody in a conversation if they want to join. That's their choice completely.
And I take you out to coffee and we can have a conversation.
Yep. You can come around my dinner table. I will cook you a really good meal and we can have a chat. I will include you in that.
I'm glad you said that because we need to set up another conversation in King in Black Rivers whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Because, we need to do another. But, yeah, she'll feed you and everything.
Oh, yeah.
but the thing about it is this. I believe that they do not want people to have conversations. They want people to just be mad.
Yes.
And
it continues to divide, right? When we are in the seat of our emotions, when we are struggling with that anger, with that rage, and we're told that we can direct that anger and rage towards this group of people because they're the ones at fault, they're the enemy, then it divides us so we can't even see the other person. We can't even see that we could come to the table and find common ground.
So let me tell you what I did. And I know it's at the hour already, but let me just tell you what I did. And you'll love this. I brought 2 dark-skinned Americans in my office because, I don't use that African-American crap. And I don't use
darker melanated?
Yeah. And I don't use that African-American because we're Americans and, we have the right to do some things. But I had 2 in the office and I asked them a question that I posted on Facebook. And I said, are you free? And if not, what is it that you can't do? So the first one said, oh, no, I'm not free. I said, you're not? He said, no, I'm not free. And I'm like, okay, and why do you feel that you're not free? What is it that you can't do that somebody else can do? He was like, well, I don't have a voice. And I was like, oh, you don't?
So you're talking to me and that's not a voice?
Right. He was like, no, I don't have a voice. And and they don't give me a voice and everything. And then I said, excuse me, aren't you a bishop? He was like, yeah. And you don't have a voice?
Not only do you have a voice, but you have a pulpit to shoot it from.
Exactly. And then he was like, oh. Then the other guy.
Who are you talking to every week, if not the people you can have a voice for?
And then the other guy, I said, are you free? He said, no. And I was like, how old are you? He says, I'm 67. And I said, okay, and you in college? He said, yeah. I said, where you go to college? He said, UWM. I said, wait a minute. You're a dark-skinned American, 67 years old, back in a university, getting a higher education, and you're not free?
Oh my goodness.
And then I said, let me explain it to you guys. There are people in jail confined to a small cell that is freer than both of y'all.
Yep.
I said, because they're free in their mind.
They're not enslaved in their minds. That's something that Viktor Frankl talked about. He was a Holocaust survivor, guys. He was in the Nazi concentration camps. And he came out and he wrote a book basically stating that No human being on earth can take away our freedom, because as long as we have the mindset that we are free, they can imprison our bodies, but they cannot take away our spirit.
Right. And so I told him, you might have to jump a hurdle higher than somebody else. And I said, but you're free to jump the hurdle.
Yeah.
I says, in my life, I have done things that I wouldn't even qualify to do at the time that I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And back then there was no DEI. That was hard work, effort.
Yep.
I said my whole career, I started off as a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And I perfected being a dishwasher till I became a cook and a baker by trade.
Yeah.
And managed at the same, and then end up managing and working for some of the top companies in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and I said, and I didn't do it, or they didn't give it to me because of the color of my skin. They gave it to me because I earned it. Yeah. Because I learned the best trick in the book when it comes to business, when it comes to anything. One of the things that somebody can never take from you is your knowledge.
Yes.
So I was a sponge. I sucked up all the knowledge. When I was a dishwasher, I went over there to the line cook, and I learned all three lines positions. They thought they was getting a break and working for free while I was receiving all the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the managers and I started doing the inventory with the managers. So when the manager went there and the district manager came, he was like, and the inventory ain't done yet. I said, oh, I can do it right now. They were like, yeah, I can do it. I did the inventory. I did the truck orders. And they were like, wait a minute, if you can do all this, why are you right here?
Yeah. Here's a great example. So Booker T. Washington, he was born into slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was freed at age 16, he walked across the states to get to a college. I believe it was in West Virginia. Sorry. West Virginia, in Virginia. So he worked in the coal mines in West Virginia and the salt furnaces. And then at 16, he mostly walked to Hampton Institute in Virginia. And he worked as a janitor to pay for his studies. You know what his college entrance exam was?
What?
He had to clean a room.
Yeah.
In order to get into college, he had to clean a room. And he loved learning so much that he was willing to, if we want to say, debase himself, right? Do the dirty work in order to do it, right? I worked as a CNA and as a nurse in really, really crummy conditions. I wiped bottoms and I cleaned up bloody messes, and I did all of this because I had a higher goal in mind. And that was, one, to minister to the people that I was taking care of, to give them dignity in their old age, right? And two, because I wanted to earn my way through life. I didn't want to live off the backs of others.
Right.
I didn't want to go through life and just live off of welfare. And Jake and I have multiple times in our marriage have been without jobs, right? Without finances, without certain education that we needed for certain certifications and things like that. And we fought for it. We have literally never seen God withhold his blessings and his provision from us, even when we were going through the worst of times.
And you know,
right after we got married, we literally, both of us, lost our jobs. Right after, like literally the week after we got married, we come back from our honeymoon, we'd both lost our jobs. And we just kept going.
But you know why it was like that for you and Jake and for me? It's this. Where we were at that time in our life, we know that wasn't permanent. That was temporary. And with the mindset that we had, that was for me, I don't mind. I can go right now and start at the bottom, but by the time I get done, I'm at the top. Why? Because I know that's temporary. And I'm going to do it in a way where people are going to acknowledge me. I'm not going to make no noise saying, do y'all see what I'm doing? No. I know this is temporary. So I'm going to do everything that I need to do to get to where I'm going.
Yes.
So, like for me, even running for governor now, all the stuff that I went through, speaking at tea parties and getting kicked out of one party because I wasn't like them, and not being supported by the other party because I wasn't like them.
We just don't fit in normal boxes, Dr. King. We got to make our own boxes.
Exactly. So, but I know my ultimate goal was to be a good representation for the people.
Yes.
And so now I'm like, okay, I'm free. I can do it God's way. I can say whatever I want to say. I ain't looking for man to endorse me because I already got 3 endorsements: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That is all the endorsements I need. And so if they endorse me, I am good. And so I don't look for someone, because that's not, here's the thing about endorsements to me. And some people say, well, that's influence. No, that's manipulation.
Yes. Yeah.
You're manipulating people to vote for someone just because another man or woman says so.
Yeah, because what happens when that man or woman's popularity goes? Well, those endorsements mean nothing, right? Because they're just, it's dependent on the influence of that other person to be able to influence others, right? To be able to guide or have mastery over others.
And
that's charisma. It doesn't mean anything if you're saying the wrong things, if you're preaching the wrong things, if you're leading the wrong way.
And then some people have to pay for that endorsement. So it ain't that they believe in you.
Yeah. Or that they even know you. Here's the thing. Yeah. We could say most of these elites probably golf together. They have their dinners and stuff, but do they actually really know one another?
Exactly.
Do they sit down and have conversations like you and me are having, where we challenge each other, where we iron sharpens iron, where we know one another's families, where we engage in dialogue and discourse because we have a relationship and a rapport that allows for that opens up those doors. Tell me any of these elites who actually sit down and say and aren't using conversation or using people to push forward their own agendas. And I'm saying this for both sides. Yeah. This is not just a one-side issue. They're in positions of power, and they know how to use power. That does not make them wise. It does not make them capable of leading a country in any way, shape, or form that is virtuous or moral. And we've got to remember that. We are not going to solve this country's problems in Washington, D.C. just because they have an R or a D after their name. What we are going to do is we're going to teach and educate our children. We're going to bring up our children in the ways of the Lord. We're going to engage with our communities. We're going to change minds by teaching and educating, not by tyranny and mastering and enslavement, right? Like it doesn't work that way.
No, and not only that, the last presidential election, Oprah Winfrey, before the last election, every Democrat before then, Oprah Winfrey made appearance for them. Never charged them at all, just made appearance. This last election, she made an appearance, but Harris had to put money in her organization. So what she's letting you know is, I don't believe in you, but if you pay me, I'll come out for you.
Yeah. And what kind of an endorsement is that? Because she can withhold that payment, and it just means that, okay, I don't support you. But we are such a celebrity-minded culture that we are willing to listen to people who have absolutely no knowledge of how government is actually supposed to work, and we'll go, yeah, we'll vote for that person because.
And we go get endorsement from people that have nothing in stake to the state.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the was it the 90s when Clinton was in office? I remember people literally telling me that they voted for him because he was better looking than the other candidate. Like, I mean, seriously, Are you kidding me? This is not a pageant for Miss America contest. We're voting for the leader of a nation. We're voting for somebody who is supposed to basically represent us on the world stage, but more importantly, represent us on our own stage.
Did you have to say that?
I'm sorry. I just like it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Even at 18, when I first voted, I understood. I didn't understand all of the ins and outs. I didn't understand the depth of the corruption or anything like that. But even at 18, I knew I had to cast my ballot for somebody who at least promised to follow the Constitution. And then obviously, as I got older and more mature, realizing, okay, they make promises. It doesn't mean they're going to keep them. But I was looking for virtue. I was looking for an unimpeachable character, even at 18.
Right. But, you know, in the dark-skinned American community, they didn't teach us about character.
Yeah.
When it was time to vote.
And it's so sad because Dr. King, when the dark-skinned American community were enslaved, they were teaching character far more than they do today. And it's so sad to me that in slavery, on one level, they were more free than they are today.
Yes. And so now I look at it and be like, okay, the Bible teaches me to know them by the fruit they bear.
Sorry. Wow. And there's my embarrassing moment of the day.
So if I'm supposed to know them by the fruit they bear, then I need to vet their fruit. Not what party they with. I need to vet their fruit. And I'll be totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And totally transparent and totally clear.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw a person, whether they had a D or R behind their name, and their fruit was God-fearing, their character was a character that didn't need an image consultant.
Yep.
If I knew that they had receipts, that they took care of the people, I wouldn't be in the race.
Yeah.
But because there's no God-fearing person in this race that is willing to stand on the word of God, not just say, oh, I go to church.
Yeah.
Drug dealers go to church and still.
I mean, demons believe in God and they shudder, right? Like, right. And again, I'm not comparing our representatives and candidates to demons. I promise.
I am. If they don't have the Holy Ghost, they got a demon.
Okay, but what you said was perfect because God-fearing. Fear God. The fear of God is the beginning of knowledge, beginning of wisdom, right? The fear of God. What does the fear of God even mean nowadays? We say we believe in God. Do we fear him? Do we hold him in highest reverence? Do we understand that he is a God who takes vengeance on the wicked, that he is a God who watches out for the oppressed and the innocent and the least of these? And like, honestly, God fearing, I would like to address when people ask me what I believe, I want to say I fear God and I shun evil. But I would love to be like, I need to respond that way when people ask me what I believe.
I know, but here's the thing, right? I love my book. Good book. But here's the thing. If we had people that wants to be, how should I say, manifest the characteristics, the nature of God, right? Again, those. And that's my biggest goal. I'm in a transformation mode right now because I gotta be that I gotta manifest the nature and the behavior of God.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, somebody gonna suck me in. So
yeah, for sure.
So as governor, even my mindset to be governor, I'm transforming myself to manifest the nature of God, the characteristics of God. Then I will see the fruit of God on this nation. And when I say nation, Wisconsin is a nation by itself.
Yeah,
So,
it's its own sovereign country. Yes.
yes. So I want to see that for God. I don't want to
Mhm.
live all my life and I read the scripture that when the righteous are in authority but never experience it.
Yes.
So I want to experience that now, but I can't experience if I'm not transformed myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why,
It'll change your complete attitude. You won't be looking at the government or the state taxes and go, oh man, we have a budget surplus. Why don't we give a little bit back to the people? No, they're going to say we don't want a budget surplus. We're going to budget and we're going to spend only this amount of money for these constitutional things, and then we're not going to take any more money from the people, right?
exactly.
It changes the mindset because we are no longer a government seeking our own advantage. We are seeking the good of the people.
Now, let me tell you this. I was at an event and the guy was like, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's running for county supervisor. And he got to talking about taxes. He said, well, maybe some taxes with inflation going up and like that. And I said, hold on. I said, why would you raise taxes when inflation rises, but household finance does not rise with the inflation? They just have to be better stewards. So why can't we be better stewards over the taxpayer money when inflation rise, that we don't have to take from them because inflation rises allow you to spend more money?
Yep.
I said, so that means we have to look at it. Same thing, and I pointed at a couple. I said, same thing at their house. Inflation is rising. They got cable and they got internet. So what they want to look at? Oh, I need to get rid of cable and keep my internet. And I got a smart TV. I got a Roku TV. So what do I need cable for if I got a Roku TV?
Yeah.
So let me get rid of that. Now we got extra money. Oh, we used to go out and eat 5 days a week. So now guess what? We might go out on the weekend and eat, and we eat at home 5 days a week. You start to change things. So if we do that at our home, how come we can't do that with our government?
Yeah, if we are seeking to be stewards of what God has given us, and if we look back in Genesis, he gave us the entire world and every living thing in it, right?
Yep.
And it's so that we steward it for him. It is not ours. It is his. He gave us dominion over it so that we could steward it for him, for his glory, for his praise, right? And so if we had that mindset in everything we did, especially in government, especially in education, especially in our homes, right? It would completely change the course of this nation.
Yes.
And if as imperfect as our founding fathers were, they understood that. They understood human nature, and they understood the dominion manifest of the scriptures, of the original Constitution, and they were like, we're going to do that. We're going to try this experiment, and hopefully it'll work past our generation. And then when the old guard passed, they left a legacy that stated, this is a republic if you can keep it. And that whole if you can keep it implies that you actually have to work to keep it.
Yes. And so this is why, when we say God-fearing, we got to ask ourselves that question individually. Are we, the voters, are those voters that go to church, are they God-fearing? Because if they're God-fearing, then they can't vote for the donkey or the elephant. If they God-fearing.
Yeah.
Because neither party is God-fearing.
Yeah. Yeah, we've come so far away from our origins.
So we have to ask ourselves now, because now it's not impossible to vote in God-fearing people if we as God-fearing people line up with God-fearing people.
Yep, exactly.
So it's not hard. We just got to ask ourselves that question. God, am I really yours?
Yes.
And, I got to share this with you too. I know we got to go, but I got to share this with you. But there's 3 questions now that I've been, asking God when it comes to me and what God wants out of my life as I'm running for governor, right? Question number 1 is, what am I doing that I should not be doing?
Yep.
Number 2, what am I not doing that I should be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, what am I currently doing that I should be doing better?
Yep.
So this here allow me to form myself to be what God is calling me to be for the people of Wisconsin.
Yep, exactly.
And so when we start to look at this thing, I'm up when I let you listen to the interview, the phone conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I told him it's 1 David, 2 Goliath, but I'm like Elijah. Lord, open the people's eyes and see it's more with me than it is with them.
Yeah.
Because we know what we're up against. We know this is against light versus darkness. We know, and darkness done hit both sides.
Yeah.
Darkness is on the Republican side. Darkness is on the Democrat side. And I know people going to get mad, but I always tell people, I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear, but I definitely tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And we got to ask ourselves, because somebody asked me, they said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. If Jesus were here right now, would he be a Democrat or a Republican?
I love that question.
I said he would be an independent.
Yeah, he would not subscribe to any party or faction.
I said he would be an independent. They said, well, why would he be an independent? Because he told you, I'm only here to do the will of my Father.
Yeah.
I'm not here to do the will of a Democrat. I'm not here to do the will of a Republican. I'm here to do the will of my Father. And those of us that's following him should be saying the same thing. I'm only here to do the will of my Father.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me know when you're ready, because I know we done.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. So you can go. Let me put you on the screen, and then I'm going to get my quote out of my book. I love quoting out of my own book. So hold tight. There you go.
And I love quoting the founders because they say things way better than I ever could. So John Hancock, during the Revolutionary War, stated this: resistance to tyranny becomes the Christian and social duty of each individual. Continue steadfast and with a proper sense of your dependence on God, nobly defend those rights which heaven gave and no man ought to take from us. I mean, he says it all, right? Like, first, our Christian duty is to depend on God. Our dependence on God is the foundation for everything else. And then that's the only way that we can actually keep and fight for the rights that heaven gave, or that God gave, right? That providence handed. And that's what the founding fathers believed. So that's what I got to say.
Okay. So I pulling from the mountain of government today. All right. And I'm going to start it like this. Why is the mountain of government matters? Government establishes the boundaries in which society operates. When it is in line with God's principles, justice, peace, and prosperity flows. When it rejects God's, corruption, oppression, and chaos take root. The enemy has always sought to control this mountain, because it gives authority to shape cultures through unjust laws, which we're dealing with, unrighteousness decree, which we're dealing with, and power abuse. An entire nation can be led away from God, which we're dealing with. Yeah. Now, strong, godly government produces justice that protects the weak and defends the innocent, freedom that allows faith and conscience to thrive, order that promotes peace and safety, vision that guides a nation towards its destiny.
Yep. Amen.
So we have to understand that whatever we're looking for in life, we got to line up with God, and we got to begin to do it God's way and not our way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that I was able to poke her today and watch her get totally.
Poke the mama bear. That's always a dangerous thing to do, but probably a good one. Good thing.
And so we're here every Thursday, and you guys, it all depends on what happened during the week, which way we gonna go, because when Governor Evers announced treasony, then we had to go there first. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. So, we want you guys to know how much we love you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in, your comments. And Russ put up Andy from Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
That's his new name, Andy from Shawshank Redemption.
Nice.
And so we thank everybody. Oh, tomorrow night, I almost forgot. Tomorrow night in the city of Milwaukee, we're having what's called the Wisconsin Revival Rally, where the church renew its vows to the government. The church and the government is going to renew their vows. Yeah. You say what?
I said renew their vows to God's government.
There you go. That's what it's all about. Come out. You'll be able to ask questions. I got some amazing speakers that's going to be speaking. And I have a young man. He's 20 years old, on fire. And he's going to be speaking as well. I saw Aisha on here today. She loved you, Sarah.
I see that. Thank you.
I know, right? And she's one of the speakers. Tranika is one of the speakers. So we're going to have an awesome time tomorrow. It's at 6111 North Tatonia. The doors open up at 6 o'clock. We also going to have some yard signs that says the people over the parties. So if you want a yard sign, come and get you one. For those, Eric, I know you want one in Rice Lake. I will get you one out there. And then someone in Beloit asked for one. I will make sure you get one. Greendale, Black River Falls, I know you'll get one. So I'll make sure. But we want you guys to come out and enjoy us tomorrow. All right? God bless. Until next time.
Because the Bible said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
People rejoice.